This tutorial will show you how to make basic changes to your templates in Inspection Designer, such as adding categories and lines, creating new components, adding a signature line, and more. To open Designer, the first thing we need to do is open up the PalmTech program. Next, we'll click on Other Programs, and where it says Inspection Designer, we'll click on Open. When we do this, it brings up the Designer screen with nothing open. So now what we need to do is we want to open up the file that we'll be working with. To do this, we'll click on the Open icon from the toolbar, and we'll find the template that we want. And so for this tutorial, we'll be using the house template. So we'll click on this, and then we'll click on OK. So now we're looking at the main Designer screen with a template open. Before we make any changes, the first thing we want to do is we want to give our template a new name. So to do this, we'll go up to File, Save As. And on this screen, we'll simply change the name to whatever we want. So here, we'll just call this House New. We'll click on OK, and our template now has a new name. And it's a good idea to save a new version of your template each time you make changes. This gives you the ability to go back to an older version in case you decide that you don't like the changes you made. The first change we're going to make is we're going to take a look at how to lock in the print settings for this specific template. By default, all the templates in PalmTech share the same print settings. One of the common changes that is made with Designer is to set it so that you can add different sets of print settings with the different templates that you use. And to do this, we're actually going to go to Template Properties. So we'll click on the Template Properties icon. On this screen, we're going to click on Advanced, and then we're going to navigate to where we see Set Special Print Settings, and we're going to click on that to pull up the print settings. So now that the print settings are pulled up, we can simply work through all of our different options in the different tabs and set it up exactly the way we want. Once you have them set up to the exact way you want for this template, all you have to do is simply click on OK. And for more information on all the changes that can be made to the print settings in a template, watch the tutorial on customizing the report look. So now we looked at that, we're going to click on OK, and we'll click on OK again. And now we're going to look at how to add in a new category to our template. And so for this, we're going to go up to the Add Category button. So we click on this. It's going to pull up the category property screen for our new category. And let's go ahead and we're going to name our new category Theater Room. So this is our name. And we can also at this point change any of the other properties that we want, but by default they're set up the way we want. So we'll go ahead and click on OK. And now we have our new category added in, but it's blank and there's nothing in it. So now that we have our blank category, we need to start adding in some new lines. So the first thing we want to add in is we want to add in a rating key. Since it's the start of the category, in this category we're going to have different line items with our ratings on it. We want the rating key at the top so that we know what each rating means. So to do this, we'll go up to Add, Line, Rating Key. Pulls up our rating key properties. They're set the way we want, so we'll click on OK, and we've now added in our first line. And with the rating key line, it shows up in the work area, but when we look at the screen preview area, we don't see it because the rating key only shows up on the printed report. So if we go to Print Preview, you'll see our rating key is now there. Now that our rating key is in there, we're ready to start adding in more lines. To do this, we're going to click on the icon for Add a New Empty Line. So we'll click on this. It'll pull up the line properties. We'll click OK. And now we'll see in our work area we have a new line added in, but it's blank. There's nothing on it. So at this point what we need to do is we need to add in each of the individual elements we want to be on the line. The first thing we want is a rating. So we'll click on our rating. Pulls up our rating properties. They're set the way we want. So we'll click OK. So now we'll see our rating is on the line, and we'll also see it in the screen preview area. Now that our rating's added in, the next thing we want to add in is a question answer. So for that, we'll click on Add Question Answer. Here, we want to type in the prompt for this item. So for this prompt, we'll go ahead and we'll type in viewing screen. Set up the way we want, so we'll click OK. It's now added in. Again, we can see it in the work area and the preview area. And to finish out this line, we want to add in a note. So to add in our note, we'll click on Add Note, and we'll click on OK. And we've now added in a new line that matches most of the other lines in our template. And now we have our rating, we have our prompt, we have a spot for the description, and now we have a spot to enter our note. Now that our first line is complete, we want to add in a few more lines that work just like that. And the fastest way to add in new lines is to simply copy and then paste and then rename a line that's already added in that works the way you want. Of course, you could always just build the line again by adding in the empty line and adding on the elements, but this way is faster and is going to save you time. So to do this, all we have to do is we'll right click on the dot to the left of the line and we'll select Copy Line. Now, we'll right click again underneath it and we'll select Paste Line. And as you can see, we have two identical lines. All we have to do for the new one is change the prompt to be for the new line items. To do that, we'll pull up the question answer properties and we'll simply change the item prompt. For this second line, we're going to change it from viewing screen to seating. And then we'll click on OK. We've now added in our second line. So now that we've added in two standard lines, let's take a look at how to add in a few more lines. We'll go up to Add Empty Line. We'll click on OK. And now let's add a couple checkboxes. But before we add the checkboxes, we want to add in a text piece. And this text piece can be used to describe kind of the item, the line prompt. So to add in our text piece, we'll click on Add Text Block. And here for the properties, we just type in whatever we want. And so we'll just simply type in, here are the options. We'll click on OK. We see it both in our work area and our preview area. And now we'll add in a checkbox. We'll click on Add Checkbox. And for this, we'll simply change this to option 1. We'll do OK. And our checkbox is added in. We can add in a second checkbox. We'll call this option 2. We can add in a third one, doing the same thing. And of course, from here, you can add in a fourth one, a fifth one, and a sixth one. And we'll click on OK. Just like we could add in a duplicate line and simply rename it, we can do that with an individual element as well. So if we wanted to add in option 4, we could go back up to Add Checkbox, or we can right click on option 3, select Copy Checkbox, right click again, hit Paste Checkbox, and then we click on it and we just change it to whatever we want. So we'll just call this option 4. Now let's take a look at how to add in a line with an option list so you can see the difference between an option list and checkboxes. To do this, we'll add in a new empty line. We'll add in our text piece. We'll say these are options. We'll click OK. And then we'll click on Add Option List. And here we can add in multiple options within the same item. So we'll click on Add New Item. Let's call it just option 1, option 2, option 3, and then option 4. And of course you can rename it by simply clicking on this box here and typing it in exactly as you want. But then we'll click on OK. And now we have our option list. For the options list, you can select only one item. And so if you have option 3 selected and then you select option 4, it's going to remove option 3 from being selected. The difference between that and checkboxes is if you check a checkbox and then another one, they'll all remain checked. So you can have multiple checkboxes checked at a time. Another example of a line we might want to add in is a signature line. So let's say we wanted to add in a signature line to our general information category so that we can capture our client's signature. To do this, we'll click on our general information category and we're going to navigate all the way to the bottom. And let's say we want to add in a signature line right before the page break. To do this, we'll click on Add New Empty Line. We'll click on OK. And now we need to add in our signature element. To do that, we'll go up to Add, Element, Electronic Signature. Just like with everything else we've added in, the first screen you get is the Properties screen. We'll simply click on OK. And if we navigate down on the preview area, you'll see our spot for our signature has been collected. Now let's say, for whatever reason, you wanted the signature line to be a little bit higher. Let's say we wanted it to be right after the water source line. You can easily rearrange the order of lines in Designer by clicking, then holding, and then dragging and dropping the line where you want it to go. And that gray line that you see is going to tell you exactly where it's going to go. So when you let go, the line will be moved to exactly where you told it to go. Another common change that is made involves page breaks. Right here, we're looking at the general information category still, and you'll notice there's a page break line at the bottom, but it says page break conditional 65%. And so what this means is that when the program gets to this page break line, if there's data covering 65% or more down the page, then the next line that comes up, which will be the first line in the next category, will start on a new page. If the data covers less than 65% of the page, then the page break is ignored. Let's say we wanted to add in a change so that the page break is what we call a hard page break, so that every time it sees this page break, the next line starts a new page. To do that, we simply got to click on its properties and then just uncheck where it says Make Page Break Optional. Then we click on OK, and it changes it to a hard page break. And so now your general information will always be on a page by itself, and then the next category, which is the lots and grounds, will start on a brand new page. So now that we've covered adding in a few different lines and page breaks, let's go ahead and we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at how to create a new component. And since we do want to create a new component, to do this we need to go to our component library. To add a new component, we'll click on the Add a New Category. It pulls up our component properties, and this is where we give our component a name. Let's say we wanted to call this Theater. So you type that in, and then you click on OK, and now in our component list we have a new component for Theater. For our component Theater, the first thing we want to do is we want to add in a section header so that we have the ability to collapse the section when we're finished. To do this, we'll go up to Add, Line, Input Section Head Screen. And here we can give this a name, so we'll just call this Theater, and then we'll click on OK. Now we're going to add in a couple lines just like we did earlier. And so let's say the first line we want to add in is for ceilings. To do this, we'll click on Add a New Empty Line. We'll add in our rating. We'll add in our question answer for the prompt. We'll call it Ceilings. We'll click on OK, and then we need to add in our note. And so our first line for ceilings is done. Now we want to add in a second line for walls. We can add it in simply by right click, copy the line we just created, right click, paste, and we'll change the prompt from ceilings to walls. Now we'll click on OK. So for this example, we're only going to add in these two lines, but as you can see, it's very easy to add in new lines. So if you wanted to add in 15 or 20 lines here, you would just follow those same procedures we looked at. Now that we've added in all the lines we want, the last thing we need to do is, since we added in this section head, we need to add in a section end. So to do this, we're going to go up to Add, Line, Input Screen Section Head, and instead of giving it a title here, we'll simply select End Current Section. We'll click on OK. We notice it's been added, but it's not where we want it. We want it at the end. So we'll simply left click, hold, and then drag to add it in exactly where we want. And if you look at the preview area, you'll see the collapsible section. We have the ability to open and close it. So now that our component is finished, what we're going to do is we want to add this in to our theater room category that we were working on earlier. So we'll switch back to template category. We'll click on theater room, and we want to add it in right here at the bottom. To do this, we'll go up to Add, Line, Component Placeholder. And so here we'll navigate down to where we see theater. And the only option here you have is the number you want of this component to be included by default. By default, it's set to 1. So if you wanted one of these to come in every time you start a new inspection, you would leave it at this. If this is something that you don't see on all your inspection, you see on occasion, you can change this to 0 so that you only add it in if you need it. For now, we'll go ahead and we'll leave it at 1. Then we'll click on OK. So we have our component placeholder line here. But now in the preview area, we have a button for Add Another Theater. And so when we start a new inspection, it'll start with 1, but you'll also then have this Add Another Theater button in case they had multiple. And if you click on this, what it does is it's going to pull in that component we just worked on. Once you're finished making changes and editing your template, you want to make sure you save, and you can do that by clicking on the Save icon. You can easily move this template and then the library that's associated with it and all the changes you made to another PC or to a mobile device that's using PalmTech by simply closing out a designer and then going to your cloud drive management from the opening shell and then setting the files to your cloud drive so you can grab them on the devices that you want. This concludes the Making Changes to Templates with Designer tutorial.